Alright, this is a Squier Strat by Fender. This is a 20th anniversary edition, which would make it 2002. And it is crusty and rusty, musty, moldy, all that stuff. Yeah. The backstory on this one was it was in an attic that developed a roof leak. And I don't think it was under direct water, because it probably would have been swelled and warped. But I think it definitely suffered the effects of being in a damp spot. There's rust everywhere. Yeah. So I'm going to try to go through it. See if we can get it playing again. I noticed this piece here. I didn't know what it was. Thought it was just a piece of dirt or a piece of stick or something, and it's actually a piece of the string, the D string, that had rusted off and magnetized itself to the pickup. You can almost see there's a couple little pieces of string here coming out, what remains of the E string right here, and the rest of them are just kind of rusted. The thicker strings are still there, but they're holding on. The only really thing I'm seeing that's bad with it, there's a little lip here, and the lip's not on the other side, so I don't know if the neck swelled this way, but the fretboard didn't, but it's fine all the way up through here. So maybe that was just a factory thing. And it's actually wider. The neck is wider than the pocket right here. We'll see what's going on. Maybe it's split up there or something. I mean, if I can't get this to work, then maybe we'll do something with the body, because that's in okay shape. So I think the first thing I want to do, I'm going to plug it in actually just to see if there's anything coming out of these electronics. And then after that I'm going to strip it all down. I'm going to give all this hardware a nice vinegar bath, and we'll take it from there. Stay tuned. Alright, let's see if it makes any noise. Sort of. Alright, it's broken down to all its parts. It's pretty difficult. I'm Obviously the pick guard here and the back plate have seen better days, but I got a plan for those. Two of the tuners were completely sheared, the shaft that comes through, so we're probably going to have to replace those. The bridge I got kind of soaking in the peanut butter blaster. Been using a lot of that on this. I don't know if there'll be any hope for that. Maybe we'll just get a replacement for that. And all these screws need to be rust treated. A lot of them have to be replaced. But other than that, I think I can work with this. This neck, you can see it's rust stains there from where the street strings were and the strings were. You know, all this blackness on here, especially down here through the back, wicked black and dirty. It's almost like the polyurethane is gone on that, or maybe it was like one of those satiny type finishes. But I really want to leave all that. If I can, if the neck's straight and playable, I just want to kind of lightly, very lightly sand it, maybe just clean it, and then do a rub-in polyurethane or something. But anyway, that doesn't look too bad. 2002. And yeah, I think a lot of this will clean up pretty good, and it'll still have that patina. But alright, moving forward, I'm going to clean up, start rust treating this stuff, and start looking into what I can get for replacement parts here. Alright, so I got that apart. A lot of the hardware is just junk. A lot of it was petrified, rust. Saddles are not going to come off of this block. So I ordered some stuff, and get to that in a minute. But I'm going to focus on this neck first. Like I had said earlier, it's flat, it's straight. The only problem I'm seeing is there's a lip right here. It's about a pick's width, and it goes right up to about the 12th. And right about here it dips off, and it comes around to about here. But there's no splits in the neck or anything, so I think that this just swelled, and the fretboard didn't swell with it. But at any rate, there's a gap here where the glue failed, and the glue is perfect everywhere else. So I'm going to just jack some glue in there, clamp it, and then sand it. And I really like the look of this neck, this black. It's just gross, but I like it. So I want to keep that. So I'm thinking after I sand this, I have a couple ways of aging it, and see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to glue that up, let that sit overnight. Alright, that's had overnight to sit. Perfect. There's only a little bit that needs to come off. I'm going to start with a 150 very lightly, then go to 220. I'm going to smooth that out with some 220, but that's feeling way better there. Alright, that feels much better, but now where I've sanded it, it's nice and clean, and I want it dirty. Looking around the shop here for something I can use. I got my coffee here. Maybe just a little black coffee on there. Stain that back up. That'll do. So I think the next step, I'm going to tape off here and I'm going to work through the frets. They're super oxidized. They're pretty almost a rust color, but they all look pretty good. I don't think this guitar was played much. There's not much wear pretty much anywhere on it, so. But that'll need to be gone through. I won't bore you with that, but I'll bring you back if something crazy happens. Alright, so I've been through all the frets. They look fantastic. They weren't off that much at all, considering it's been 25 years or so in an attic. So the next thing I did, I had mentioned I wanted to keep that dirt and blackness that's all over it and the rust spots. And so what I used was a light piece of steel wool and rubbed it over the whole thing, and now it's really nice and smooth. And yeah, I kind of like this. I was thinking of sealing it with this wipe-on poly, just like a coat of that real quick, but I don't know, I think I kind of like this feel. It's got that like unfinished feel, and the neck's smooth now too, so I don't know. I'm gonna wipe a little bit of this down here on the heel where you won't see it, just to see what that kind of looks like. Alright, I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, see how that feels. I have a feeling I probably should do this just to seal it. I don't know if it was originally polyurethane and all that is chipped off, or if it just had that satiny, smooth kind of look. I put the neck aside. I think I'm going to try to clean this, get all this scuzz off of here. Use some Sprayway all-purpose cleaner. Stuff works great, but it's very powerful. I've seen it take ink off of the stickers. If you have stickers on a guitar, do not use this stuff. This is for extreme cases for cleaning your toilet. Look at this. Alright, that looks a million times better. Smells better too. Alright, so in the end I decided to use the wipe-on poly, a very, very light, minuscule coat, so that it still retains that unfinished look. And that's going to be great. I'm going to let that sit for maybe till tomorrow. I'll get back to work on it. But it's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, done. Just needs to be, that fretboard needs to be oiled, and tuners need to be installed, so that's my next step. So I ended up doing one coat of poly, that wipe-on stuff. It was a gloss, but just the one coat was all I really needed, just to kind of seal it. I was afraid it would get too glossy, but that's nice. It's got like a satin finish. It was smooth before, after I went over it with the light steel wool to get all the gunk off, but Now it's kind of silky, so that's going to be good. Also, I did the fretboard with some feed and wax. That really needed it. It was beyond just the orange oil or the little bingo dauber. What else did I do here? I did the electronics. The tops of these were really rusted, the single coils. I got those as best I could. I was using a little bit of vinegar for a while, and then I had this big steel brush, and that way I could see if anything came off. I didn't want to use steel wool or anything like that. And then I had this, it's a real hard bristle brush, plastic. That got kind of more of it, but as you can see, these humbuckers are pretty rusty. So, you know, the rest of the pots and everything look good. They weren't too oxidized, but so I'm holding out hope for those. We'll see if they work. Lastly, the bridge. These saddles are all petrified right through there. Saddle screws are petrified, but the block's good. So rather than getting a whole block, you know, which brings me to my packages. Got some stuff here from Jungle Shop. I don't want to spend too much, but I did. I got a new set of saddles, and got a pick too. You know it's a good pick. I keyed. What's up next? Should be two things in here, I think. Let's see. Alright. First one. New tuners by Music Lily. Nice. Alright. So, see, I didn't spend a lot on this, but this will be more handy. This is a kit of stainless screws, because every screw on this was messed up. So I got my new neck screws, I got new springs, pickup screws, pick guard screws, a couple different pickup screws. Oh, these might be my saddle screws if I need those bigger ones. Yeah. And then, yeah, a couple miscellaneous screws here. So that'll come in handy, because a lot of this garbage here is not salvageable. Go through what I'm going to probably need here. I'm going to need that neck plate. I need my pickup covers. Got to clean those still. And I'm replacing that jack, but I'm going to need the bezel there. These are going to have to be cleaned. My claw here. Those screws stink though. They're all rusty. Probably won't even come out of there. Out of there. Alright, what else? I need my springs. Alright, tuners are junk. That's the old tip for the switch. What else is in here? I might need this strap. I need the buttons, but screws are screwed. I'll get those out later. Pull them out of here. So, you know, I would say the rest of this is junk, but of course it's not. You know, the shaft on this tuner is broken. There's a split right here, you can see. But still, like that screw up there, that tuner, those plastic washers, that's all good stuff to keep. So that'll go in the stash at a later date. Yeah, let's see if I can start fitting these tuners first. See what these look like. New hardware. kind of nice for the price. Nice for the price. Alright, I'm probably seeing one issue here. Let me grab one of these old tuners. Yeah, this one I'm going to have to probably do some drilling here. Make some new peg holes. As you can see here, this one has one peg. This one has two pegs. So everything else lines up though. Nice and shiny. So make sure they fit. Yeah, those will be pretty good. Nice. Alright, I have to make some kind of template. Actually, there's a nice little template on the box here. So I'll start out those two holes and I'll figure out where that hole is in the middle. That was right in the middle. So, yep. And then I can drill some new little pilot holes there for my new tabs. I kind of like the two tabs because that's going to give you a little more structure going that way. Keep them a little straighter. Alright. Alright, like I said, these saddles are petrified on there. As you can see, it's just a lot of rust. They don't even move. These don't move. The saddle screws don't move. But, like I said, the block is still good in there. So, I'm gonna use the Dremel with a cutting blade and try to go like right up in here. And just try not to mar up the block any. Bridge, I guess. And yes, I am wearing eye protection. I'm not doing the safety squints. It's like pieces of rusted spring everywhere. Still petrified strings in here. Yeah, it's gonna need some work. Get those out. Out of here. That one out. This one's gonna need some persuasion. There we go. Alright, that's all the old stuff off of there. It's just oxidized and petrified in there. And that one's surprisingly perfectly fine. The boiler's finally gone off. Let's see. That could just use some chrome polish. It'll get a lot of that off of there. Any steel wool maybe if that rust, a little bit of rust remains there. That'll be fine. The block here, I'm stuck with these, trying to get these old strings out, or remains of them. I already stabbed myself 3 times. Alright, get out of there. One more. Always one left, right? Thing is I don't want to cut this off because then I wonder if I pop a finish nail down there. You know, finish nails are great. They're like a long-term toothpick. Except don't use them on your teeth. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Clean up on that. So keepa. That's all garbage right there. I like don't even want to try to save these. Yeah, even I have my limits. Alright, not only does this kit give you one template, it gives you 6. And just look how fucking happy that guy is to see you. So, I'm going to put this down on here. I'm going to punch a hole somewhere in between these two. And I'll be able to line it up. And then I'll be able to punch out these two holes and just drill them down a little bit. And then the new tuners should fit in there perfectly. They're perfectly shaped for the old imprint that was there, which is good, I guess. Everything's the same size, otherwise those pegs. But that's it. So, to work on that. Alright, good thing they gave me 6 because I wasn't liking the placement on the first one. So this should go in there. And see, good thing I checked because that's a little off. That hole's a little bit different. You do fit in here, right? No. Alright, so I misspoke. They actually don't go from the circle to that. But they do line up in the peg holes, right? At least. There's something right here. Yeah, the holes line up. So I think if I cut that square and I can line that up in there. That's not going to work either. Yeah, that's falling right in line with that. So I'm going to have to cut this square to go with this edge. And then hold it in place with my finish nail. That's what I'm going to do. Actually looks pretty good. Try one first. That looks pretty good right about there. I'm just going to do a test one, make sure that that fits right there. But my template got it perfectly aligned with those two holes between the existing hole. You know, that's something I wanted to do first. Just want to give it a punch here in the middle. The hole. I was hoping to just punch it with the template, you know, having this in there halfway to hold that. But this will do. And these don't need to be deep. Like an 1/8 inch, I think it looks like. Yeah, those fit pretty good. Just a little bit deeper. Alright, 5 more to go. Oh, nice. So they didn't want to sit down in the holes using the same size bit as the hole that was there. And these posts are just a little bit bigger. So I didn't have any small drill bits, so I've been using these end mill bits just to kind of get in there. It does a really nice job, actually. So I just kind of went with my like second to largest, and that kind of almost got them in there, and I just went with my largest, which I think is 3mm. So it'll fit in there pretty good. Leave that hooked up in case I need it. Alright, this should fit right on in. Some hardware here. I see a bunch of screws in here, and I don't know why. Unless this just is a universal kit that goes with their stuff. And, yeah, maybe there's like another tuner that requires a screw. But they're always handy to have around. The washer, I want to make sure that I'm putting with the bevel side up. Usually the shiny side, the more dull side goes down. And this kind of self-centers. Alright, what do you think it is? 10mm? Of course it is, because it took me forever to find it. It's always a 10mm, right? And of course, I never like to just put a ratchet on here and start torquing them down. Okay, you can get them with your hand, is fine. There you go. I need some the saddle tree strings. I'm going to need 2 of those because the 2 that were in there were just rusted beyond belief. So, but I got a couple, so I'm not going to worry about that till later. But neck seems pretty done. Nice. These both came out really good with the chrome polish. I thought there was surface rust on here, but it was it had just been staining from the hardware. So start putting this bridge back together. Let's see what we got in here. I already ended up with 2 of these stupid guitar picks. I'm going to start assembling the body. You know, it's got some flaws. It's got a nice chip here, chip down here. It was mostly pretty filthy. It's got this weird dimpling here on the back. I don't know if the light's going to show. I'll take a picture. Chips here, but that's all cool. Some cracks here where the screws were, where the rust just expanded that. But you know, some crackling up here. I couldn't get these rust stains completely out of there. That's alright. And the bridge came out really nice. So I got that kind of in a starter position. We'll get that in first. Let's see how this goes. These screws might be kind of short. I might have to replace those with something longer. But yeah, it's pinned in there. I can't really loosen them too much because they're so short. So I'll probably have to replace those, but we'll do that later when we're putting strings on it. I want to reuse the strap buttons, but the screws I got in the kit are just a little too big to go through, so I'm just going to open up that hole a little bit. Boy, I really need some new drill bits. A couple of these rubber washers. Kind of like these better than the foam ones. Get a little more bounce. Alright, so this would be the part of the build here where I'd start putting the electronics back in, but this pick guard is just junk. It's cracked in a couple places, rust stained, filthy, it's real brittle. Backplate is super brittle. So I have the ability to carve my own pick guards here on my x-carve CNC router. So I had this stuff sitting around. It was supposed to be tortoiseshell, but it's a little bit orange. It actually goes with the guitar really well, but I wanted something a little different, so I started thinking blue. I figure you never really see blue on a white guitar, so I ordered this one. It was a lot darker on in the picture, but it's super bright, so I'll probably use that for something else maybe down the road. So I ordered a darker blue one. I'm really liking the looks of this. It's bordering on purple, but it's a really dark blue, almost like a navy blue. And yeah, I really like it. It's got good graining and stuff. So yeah, next step, I'm going to make my own custom pick guard and backplate to fit this thing. So stick around. Alright, I got my piece loaded up. I'm going to do this in 3 carves. My first bit is going to be this end mill bit. That'll do all the holes, the pickups, and it will also do the flat edge around the neck pocket and around the bridge. My second bit is going to be this V-groove, and this will do the bevel for the screws. And then my third one is another V-groove at a steeper angle, and this will cut my outside edge. Give me a nice bevel on there too. So I'm going to get to it. Alright, I've got all the inner stuff cut out. I just need to cut them out now. I've got the end mill bit loaded up, the flat one. I'm going to cut out the back plate first because that's going to end up being a flat cut. And then I can load up my other angle bit and cut out the pick guard itself. One thing I do like to do though is there's nothing really holding this down. I got a couple pieces of ATG tape in there, but that's not, I don't think that's enough to keep it from shifting on you. And I don't want it to shift, so I'm going to use a couple of these holes and put some screws in to hold it straight. Well, I almost made it through this carve. It's usable, but piece of plastic chipped off right here and dragged itself right around, so that kind of sucked. But it's just going to be a little bit ugly up here and right here, I think. I'm just going to have to live with it. I'm not going to put any more money into this. So I'm going to get this off the board and we'll see how they look. Well, that looks pretty decent. I like that color combo. I got to do some refinement on these with some light sandpaper, a little file. Really not much, and then I can peel the plastic off and see how it looks. Alright, so I was bench testing these electronics before I put them all in. I just didn't really have faith in them by the looks of them. And this single coil is not working for one. It's actually losing its winding. Could have been from me scraping it. I'm trying to get all the corrosion off, but I'm going to switch my meter here to the 20K horseshoe. And I'm going to put this my red on a white wire here, just a hot. And on my negative I'm getting 5.73, so that's about right for that. So that's a good one. We'll go to the second one here. Nothing. So that one's dead. The humbucker was okay. This is the humbucker here. .52, 11.51. So that's good too. Pretty hot. And the second problem I'm having is here's the switch, and that's just rusted and corroded in there. So I got to replace a single coil pickup and a switch. And I mean, this wiring's not that great. The pots also have a lot of corrosion in them. So I did the right thing. Put more money in this thing, and got a fully loaded pick guard. That would actually look pretty cool in there, but I still want to go with the blue. So yeah, that was only 25 bucks. You know, I really didn't want to get into it that much, but I've come this far. I've already spent between the saddles and the tuners 35, another 15 on this piece, and say 5 or 6 in hardware. So this far I might as well go the extra mile here. So I'm going to take that off and install all this in here. Alright, let's see what we got here. One of these is going to be my hot to my jack. The other one is going to be my black to my jack. The other one is going to be the ground to the bridge. So I want to put some shielding on this before I go too far. This looks like a lot of overkill, but I might as well do that. Doesn't look too bad. Swapping this stuff over.
So the screws that came with the single coils are actually on the new pickguard. They're beveled, so they sit down. But I kind of wanted to use the regular top screws in there, but they're a little tight, so I'm just going to drill out this a little bit. So I don't know where that memory card cut out, but I got the pick guard here assembled, ready to be put in. I'm going to start working on this jack. It also has a lot of rust, and I'm just hoping that's staining, but hopefully it's not on there too tight. Loose. Okay, that's good. Give this a quick test. Nice. Alright, so I started filming putting the neck on, and these holes are a little bit too tight. My new neck screws are the right length, just a little beefier, so drill them out so I get some wiggle room. But I was still thinking about the body and the electronics, and thinking maybe I should use as much as I can out of this. And I mean, it's crusty and stuff. And I just wanted to know, make sure I'm doing the right thing. I was at least thinking of putting the humbucker in, but I thought before I did that I would measure it. So I had put my meter here to the 20K horseshoe. I'm going to measure the ohms, and I want to make sure I'm switched to my bridge, which is my humbucker there. I'm going to take my red lead and put it on the hot, and then should be picking up ground some here. 11.3 I'm getting out of that pickup. And then when I test the new pickup I got here, which you do that by putting your ground there on the jacket, red to the tip, I'm getting 14.19187. It'll drop, but hangs around there, around 14. So that's a hotter pickup. So the Amazing J came by today, dropped off a couple guitars, and yeah, Hugh said go with the hotter pickup because he's the one that's probably going to be playing this in the jam room. So, and I know he likes to pick up hot, so we're going to set it up for shred mode. But yeah, he dropped off the Harmony that I've worked on before. We're going to put a graphite nut on that. The high E keeps slipping off the neck. And so we're going to, the nut's kind of a mess. We're going to try to get it centered. And he dropped off this old Washburn, which we're going to go through. And that's pretty cool. You don't see too many Washburns. But yeah, so we're going to need that in the studio soon. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in an upcoming video. So I am doing the right thing here with the pickups. If you don't agree, let me know. But I think I'm doing the right thing. So I'm going to move on to the neck. Getting all paranoid here about $100 guitar. Just want it to be right. Yeah, I mean, it's not a real Fender or anything, right? Alright. So right now it's at 11/64. I'm going to go one up to 3/16 and see how that does. When I put these in, they were really tight through there and really tight grabbing in there. And I almost felt like maybe the next time you try to take it out, they might snap. It was that tight. Plus, I want wiggle room if I have to adjust the snack left or right. You know, in that certain degree, sometimes you have to do on a Fender. Just put a little tape there to keep me from chipping anything. And on the back side, I'm going to put this piece of scrap wood to drill into. Still a little too tight for my liking. I'm going to go up to 13/64. There we go, that's how I want it. Alright. Use the scrap wood to prevent chip out. So if I'm drilling into a piece of wood and I got that tight, the wood doesn't know it's only that thick. It thinks it's that thick. So those fit nicely now. Same thing on the neck. They were fitting a little bit too tight. I don't want this to, I don't want these to split at all. I want to make sure that that's not going in too tight. So let's figure out that is. And I'll go one step up from that. Nine 9/64 is getting tight. That's it. So it's an 1/8 inch now. Hit it with a little 9/64. Alright, so I had already checked out the angle of this neck, the trajectory, and I do need a shim because we don't have a tilt-o-matic, so cut a little end of a business card off of there. I think that's about all we need for now. That's where I'll start. And yeah, that just puts it nice and flat with the body. So that's a good spot to start. Alright, she's one piece again. I think I can start stringing it. We'll take these plastic off first here, huh? Now you want to do that. Alright, I'm going to set this up with 10s, some boomers. What do you think? little pencil for some lube there in your nut. You know, random thought of the day. Have you ever wondered why, like, when people make it to the bonus round of Wheel of Fortune, they get the RST, LNE, but nobody ever picks FCK or U? Needless to say, I don't think my episode of Wheel of Fortune would be airing. The string trees that were on this were just corroded to almost nothing. So I just so happen to have a set here I think might work. These are like these rollers. So I think that would sit right about there. Yeah, like that. I'm going to use the little hole. Nice. Alright, so it is all assembled. You know, most cheap guitar manufacturers would just call it a day right here. You know, if this was first stacked, I'd be shipping it. But, of course, we don't do that here. We got to set this thing up. First order of business is the neck angle here. And it is pitched a little bit upwards, so it's going that way. And I'm going to loosen these up a little bit, and we'll straighten it out and tighten them back up. Alright, that's looking much better, much more square on there. Next order of business, I'm going to tune it up. I have this jacked down pretty tight, and when we tune it up, we're going to see where the tension is. And if it starts lifting up here as I'm tuning it, then I'm going to tighten up the springs a little bit. That's starting to lift right there, so tighten those up. I'm going to give them half a turn each. Still a little bit tighter. I might have to put another spring in here. Spring in my step. Alright, I'm going to start there. I got a nice little lift here. So I can go either way with the whammy. I got to adjust some height, but even the intonation is kind of almost there. Now by adding that spring, now it's too tight, so take a little tension off. So there's a little overbow in the neck. I'm going to take that out here. I have a 5mm wrench. I think this is the one I was just using. Not this one. I just want to loosen it, take that that stress out of the neck. You should almost hear these detune. Alright, that looks a lot better. I'm gonna leave it there. I went to loose and then came back around till it just tightened up. And I mean, it's been in an attic for years. Like I said, you saw the beginning of the video, you know the story of it. So it's just gonna have to learn how to be a guitar again. That's what they always say. So these string trees look great and all, but I think this is causing a lot of rattle and buzz up here. So I think we're gonna have to get rid of them. Rattle and hum.
Check out the blue.
Is that it now?
No.
Play something heavy.
So this turned into a decent little guitar. Plays fine. The electronics produce sound. The neck is really thick, like the business end of a baseball bat. A little bit thicker than what I'm used to. I did end up putting a string tree here back on. I found when I put the top one on it was creating a lot of buzz, so I just went with the lower one, and I think that'll do. I want to show you some before and after photos, because I want to start doing that more on my channel. Whenever I watch a video on YouTube restoring something, fixing something up, I always like to see the before and afters. So there was a lot I did here on this guitar. We'll start down here at the bridge. It was really rusty. The saddles were completely petrified. I had to cut them off. I had thought that that block was rusted, but it was just staining from all that hardware, and that cleaned up good with chrome polish. And moving up to the electronics, wish I could have kept the originals, but they were just in a sorry state, and I want it to be reliable. I don't want to have to keep fixing them, so the new ones will have to do. And it's that hotter humbucker there too anyway. You know, we replaced the pick guard and the back cover. Cut some new ones here in this bright blue. It's almost a navy blue. If you're familiar with Pantone, it's almost a reflex blue. So that looks pretty cool. And the neck and the fretboard came out great. It's amazing that they're still straight after sitting in a moist attic. And the headstock kept everything pretty much there. The rub-on polyurethane was a good call because now it's sealed and it has a silky feel, so that's nice. Of course, I did the new tuners as well. Those old ones, 2 of the shafts were broken. One of them was kind of seized up, and that wasn't worth even keeping. So yeah, this thing came out great. Really happy with it. I think it's going to make a great addition to the Jam Room collection. Something to pick up and, you know, people to play. So what did I put into this besides my time? Let's see, the new saddles were 10. The tuners were 20. Then I had a spring for the electronics there. Those were 25. The pickguard material was 10. And don't forget I bought 2 of those. I bought a light blue and a dark blue. But I won't count the light blue, I guess, because I'll use that somewhere else. But still, it was intended for this, and I didn't like it. So, whether you count that or not, whatever. I probably had another 5 in strings, and then, you know, I had to buy that hardware kit. But the hardware kit, I'm kind of, you know, I'll use it other places. I still have a ton of hardware left in it. So, I'll consider that 5 in hardware. So that brings me to 85, if you don't count the extra 10 on this, you know, unused pickguard. That brings us down to 75. So, you know, $100 guitar, but I had to do it. So did I go overboard? Yeah. Did I spend too much money? Definitely. Did I have fun doing it? Totally. So, I guess that's what counts. And I think people are going to have fun playing this. And it's already beat, and we're not going to worry about that, you know. If, you know, Paul Stanley comes over and wants to play it and smash it, we'll let him do that, you know. Anyway, I got 3 free picks out of the deal. Those things are such garbage. I want to thank you for watching. Why don't you give me a thumbs up for filming it for you, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.